The median price of a house in Sioux Falls is $154,000. The reason I put Sioux Falls down here is I'm located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Now, what that means is there's homes that have sold for more than 154, and there's homes that have sold for under 154. But if they average it all out, and the number of sales, the average price of a transaction that's happened on a personal residence, a home, $154,000. So I'm going to use that figure. I checked it out, and that's what the median price is right now in May of 2013 for the average value of a house that's sold. So we're going to take $154,000 times 6%. Now, the reason I put 6% down here, yes, there's a lot of real estate agents that go out and negotiate a sale or a listing and take a listing at, say, 7%. But then there's other agents that will negotiate, and maybe the property owner negotiates a little tougher, and they'll take it at 5%. But what the general public, generally, when they think about what a real estate commission is, they usually come upon and settle on a 6% commission. So let's just use that. Now, if we take 6% times $154,000, the commission for selling that property would be $9,240. Now, the listing office normally will retain half of that. Why? Because many times you have an office that will list a property and put it on the market. They took the commission, they negotiated a commission at 6%, and they offer 3% or half to any office that will bring a buyer that's ready, willing, and able to buy that property. So they'll offer 3% and retain 3%. So if you do that, then you're paying out $4,620 paid to a cooperating real estate office. Now, the listing office will retain $4,620, which is, if you take the two together, they come to $9,240. And so I'm going to work on the basis of what an average transaction does. It's normally around 3%, either if you sell it or you list it. So the agent's compensation. Office compensation, $4,620. Office splits with the agent 50%. Agent receives $2,310. Now I'm going to just say this. 50% is usually the entry-level commission split that a person that's going into real estate gets. Generally, it doesn't get any lower than 50% unless you're working for an office that pays your income tax and Social Security, and then they may cut something out of that and cut it below 50. But generally speaking, entry-level commission splits start at 50%. So in other words, and why? Because you're going to go to work for a real estate agency that's going to spend time on training you. And so the time is spent by someone who is taking themselves away from being productive in listing and selling real estate to work with and help a new agent. And so generally that new agent starts off on a 50% split with his office. And in this case, it would amount to $2,310 for a sale or listing that's sold. Either way. Okay, so that's kind of how that compensation works. Now, agents commission on other splits. Now, once you get into an office and you start doing pretty good, they might give you 60%. Generally, with my office, as my agents, when they attain a certain amount of production, I would move them to 60, and they would stay there from then on, regardless of what happened. So at 60% on that, you would make $2,772 of the $4,620. Then, as an agent progresses, they could go to 70%, and that would amount to $3,234. And they could go up to 80%. With my office, I used to, once they reached a plateau, I would give them 80% for the remaining time left in that year. So it would be 80% of the $46.20. They would get $3,696 of that commission split. And there's some offices, my office has never fit this category, but there's some offices like Remax and Ameristar that will offer 100% commission to the agents. Now you say, well, how can they do that? There wouldn't be any money there for them. Well, they work out a deal where the agent pays them a certain amount for a profit, and then the agent pays for everything. And they pay rent for their office space. They pay for all of the advertising, all of the materials that are used, even buy their own desk and chair. Now there's certainly money in it for like Remax and Ameristar, because they wouldn't do it if they weren't getting something for it. And usually it runs like $2,000 to $3,000 a month in that kind of a situation. But there's agents that make $200,000 and $300,000 a year that are on that 100% program. Well, if they're paying out $2,000 a month, take $24,000 away from $300,000. It makes sense to do that for some people. Now, examining possible current status. If you're making $10 an hour in your current employment and working 40 hours a week, you're making $400 a week. If you multiply $400 times 52 weeks a year, your annual income is $20,800. Now I'm going to just make a statement. If you're trying to raise a family on $20,800 a year, I'm sure you're having difficulty, because $20,800 is now considered poverty. Now granted, what happens in a situation like this is if you're making $400 a week, your wife is probably making something similar. And so, or maybe more, but add the two together and you're at $41,600, and it's not exactly going to make things terrific for you, but you're just getting by. So let me just say that. And today, with the changes in the health care that are looming, your employers that like McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell and your convenience stores, they know that if they give you more than 29 hours, they're going to have to pay your health care because of the way the situation is lining up. So many times you could be making $10 an hour, but you're only working 29 hours a week, so you're only making $290 a week, which is less than $15,000 a year. Now you could do that and take that job and get another one, and you're working 58 hours a week for $580. Still not doing that great. So let's just say it's not that wonderful to be in that situation. Now, examining possible current status, okay? If you're making $15 an hour in your current employment and working 40 hours a week, you're making $600 a week. If you multiply 600 times 52 weeks a year, your annual income is $31,200. And if you're making $20 an hour in your current employment and working 40 hours a week, you're making $800 a week. And if you multiply $800 times 52 weeks a year, your annual income is $41,600. Well, let's compare income possibilities with real estate. Okay? At a 50% split, selling median priced house at $20,800 divided by 2,310, that's the average commission on a $154,000 property for an entry-level agent. he would have to make 9 sales to make as much money as you make at $10 an hour for a year. So he would have a month and 10 days to make one, either get a listing sold at $154,000 or make a sale at $154,000. So he'd have to have about 9 sales to equal what you make a year if you're making $10 an hour. Now at 60% split, selling a median price house, $20,800 is divided by 2,772, because that's the commission at 60%. Then he'd have to have 7.5 sales a year. Now what does that amount to? That amounts to he's got to have, if he was to match your income in the real estate business, he would only have to sell one house or get a listing sold every month and 40 days. So now at 70% split, selling median price home at $20,800 divided by 3,234, 6.4 sales a year. So there we're almost up to one listing or one sale almost every 2 months. And then at 80% split, selling median priced house at $20,800 divided by 3,696, well, that equals 5.6 sales a year. So that is about 2.5 months, or that before he'd have to have a sale, and where he'd average what you make there. So at a 50% split, selling median price house, $31,200 annual income divided by 2,310, you'd have to have 13.5 sales a year, which is a little more than one a month. At a 60% split, selling median price house, $31,200 divided by 2,772, he'd have to have 11.25 sales a year. So that's a little less than a month. He'd have to have about one a month. At a 70% split, selling a median price house at $31,200 divided by 3,234, he would have to sell about 1.5. In other words, he'd have a month and a half to make a sale to average the $31,200. And at 80% selling split, the median price of $31,200 income divided by 3,696, he'd have to have just 8.5 sales a month, which is not quite, or a year. He'd have to sell one house every month and a half. Now we'll go against the 41.6. At 50% split, selling a median price home at $41,600 divided by 2,310, you'd have to have 18 sales a year. That's 1.5 sales a month. At a 60% split, selling a median price house at $41,600 divided by 2,772, he'd have to have 15 sales a year. He'd have to have one sale every month and a half, or a month and a third, I should say. And at 70% split, selling a median price house at $41,600 income divided by 3,234, 13 sales a year. And at 80% split, selling a median price house, $41,600 divided by 3,696, 11 sales a year. So in other words, less than one a month on an 80% split. And he would be making equal to a person making $41,600.